Hello everybody and welcome back in the channel. I made a new section of the channel with interviews of my favorite nature photographer of YouTube, where I'll ask some questions about gear and nature photography. In today's interview, I'm really happy to have with me Lydia Gilbert. Lydia is an English nature photographer based in UK, but I prefer is Lydia to talk. So Lydia, please introduce yourself and tell us something about you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Lydia Gilbert. I'm a wildlife photographer that's based in the UK. I've been doing wildlife photography for just under 10 years in my spare time. I just love going out in nature and just having the opportunity to photograph different species around the UK. I have a very long list of other birds and animals I like to find, but from what I've experienced already, yes, it's been very enjoyable so far.
Okay, yes, I was watching one of your last video. It was really nice, and I'm seeing that you are improving your photography skills day by day. So it's amazing to see how a person can improve when there is passion and the enjoyment to stay in nature like you. So it's a great for me. And like you, there are many other nature photographers on YouTube. Maybe you already know someone of them, like Scott Walker, that is an English photographer. It's very good, and in the next few days, I'm going to make his interview online, so I think it will be a nice moment. So, Lydia, I think it's time of questions. So don't worry, Lydia, nothing compromising, just simple question about you and your photography. So if you're ready, I'll start with the first one, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you start taking picture in nature?
Oh gosh, it's probably going back to just before I finished secondary school, so before I went on to do my college degree. I remember the bird actually. One of the first pictures I remember taking was of a reed warbler, and it had a nest, and I was in a little makeshift hide, and I waited for the parents to return to their chicks. So that was probably one of the first wildlife images I remember taking, and yeah, since then I've enjoyed it ever since. So it's a very special memory for me.
Yeah, I understand you. My first time was with the kingfisher using a hide. I know you call them hide instead of photo blind. It was amazing because the kingfisher was really close to the hide on a perch, and it was beautiful with its strange voice. It's amazing. So I still remember the day. So I understand you when it's the first time you make something so exciting like nature photography.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
okay. The second question is why nature photography and what attracts you most to nature?
I think the things that most attract me to nature is definitely the bird life. It's they're absolutely everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a bird of prey or your standard pigeon. Seeing them in the garden very frequently, but it's always been I've always enjoyed watching birds anyway. And there's such a huge variety, not just in the UK but worldwide. And if there's an opportunity to go see other birds in different countries, I would love to. But just in the UK alone, there's such a huge variety, and I'm lucky to have seen quite a few different bird species and have the opportunity to photograph them too. So yeah, most definitely birds, and then the mammals follow closely after as well.
Okay. Fortunately, in UK there are a lot of birds. I've been in UK only twice, and once I went to Scotland to see puffins, and they were amazing. So I hope to go there again, maybe in future. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I'd love to go again. Yeah, I saw them back in May this year, and they're such, they're just a delight to be around, and they're really curious, so they'll walk up to you, and they're great for close-up shots anyway.
Yes, it's amazing, really, really. Okay, the third question is, how do you feel when you get back home without any picture? Sometimes happens.
Oh, absolutely. It can often be, I would go out and I would have, an animal or a bird in mind that I'd like to see. And I'd go to the ideal location. Either they've been seen there before, or just one that looks very inviting for that species. And there can be days I can spend hours in that spot and then end up coming away with nothing. And I can often feel a little bit downhearted, just because you spend all that time waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
But I always remind myself that, there's other opportunities. There's always another day to go back.
Yeah.
And it's maintaining that commitment, to get that photograph. That's what pushes me to keep going out again. So.
Yeah. I see. And another fact is that you can enjoy staying in nature. At least for me, it's so. So every time I go outdoor, it's a pleasure. Even if I can't take any picture, just watch a bird or any other kind of animal. So it doesn't matter if I can get my goals in general, speaking in general. So it's the same. I was wondering, it's not in the question list, but what is your favorite subject?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I don't think I can't put it to one. That's kind of asking what my favourite animal or bird is. I have a favourite for each type of bird. So my favourite bird
General.
Oh gosh, I'd have to go with the puffins, I think.
The puffin. Okay.
Yeah, just because they're so charismatic, and the colours on their bills are really attractive. You can get them in all different types of settings, whether it's out at sea or on land, and they're just they're a wonderful character, really. So yeah,
with a strange beak, colorful beak.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're. I mean, it's so much so that I've got a tattoo of one. I love them so much, so it speaks for itself. Yeah.
I always ask to myself how they can fly with small wings. If you think about their
incredible.
wings, they are so small. So how can they fly? I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, like many other big birds, but with small wings, like ducks, for example. So they have to flap wings. I don't know if it's right. Okay, really, really fast in order to stay on the air. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Lydia. Now about gear. So what brand are you using and why? Mostly why?
Okay, so my camera body is Canon 6D.
Canon, yeah.
It's a brand that I've just become very much familiar with using. I've used it not just in wildlife photography, but in my main job as well. So it's a brand I'm familiar with, and the main lens that I use is the Sigma 150 to 600 mil contemporary. Again, it's just a brand I've come to love over time. Comes out with an amazing quality, and the zoom capabilities of it is really good too.
Yeah, yeah, understand. I had the old one version, the 150 to 500 millimeter lens by Sigma, but actually it wasn't so really good, and I have to sold, yes, maybe, to take another one. But now I'm using Sony, as you know, maybe, uh, but I think it's a really good brand, despite many people uh, tells that it's not so good. But I think actually the mirrorless system is pretty good, and it works really well for me because for me an important fact for nature photography is not to make noise. The DSLR cameras make noise when you shot, but the mirrorless camera has the electronic shutter that doesn't make any noise. So for me, it's vital this aspect of a camera. So I don't know for you how is, or if you maybe you do something to decrease the sound, the noise of the shutter, or you are not worried about it.
Yeah, there is a function where it goes to a silent shooting mode.
Okay.
So it does reduce the noise. It's still there, but it just reduces the noise quite a bit. And most of the time when I've had it either in a hide or when I'm outdoors photographing, it's not very often that the animal becomes spooked by it.
Okay.
So it's still relatively quiet. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe also using the live view mode.
Yes, I often, because I record video through it as well, and yeah, the live view is good for that, to get it all set up and see what the scene looks like.
Okay.
But often I'm just right through the viewfinder, pretty much all the time. So
Yes,
yeah.
also for me it's the same. I prefer to use the viewfinder, even because I don't see it really well. In theory, I should use the glasses for watching the main screen. Instead of using the viewfinder, it's easier. So for me, it's vital of the viewfinder. Okay, Lydia, next question. Do you think to have the best gear will improve your photography?
In my opinion, I don't think you need the very, very best. It often does come down to how the person uses the camera to get the images they want. And a lot of camera equipment nowadays, they're obviously improving in quality, but the price tag has come up with it as well. So it can put people off with that reason. But I think once you know how to use your own camera, and it's putting forward the skills of how to compose your image, what lighting effect you want to have, what you want your subject to do. It all literally comes down to when you press the shutter button in your own time. So yeah, if people want to get the most high-end, most expensive lens, they can. But if you're not going to if you're not going to end up taking your pictures that you want to take, then it sort of defeats the idea. But yeah.
That's true. Because it's not gear actually that make a photographer, but it's the photographer itself with its skills. And maybe if you don't have the biggest lens, maybe the 600 millimeter lens, but you can also go closer to your subject using maybe some approach, using a hide or with a camouflage. You can also go closer to the subject. Or sometimes, like Scott Walker says, you can stay in the place waiting for animal that come close to you. It's another way to have nature around you. I don't know if you ever use this technique.
Yeah, I will often spend time mainly in the local woods where I would just sit for, an hour, 2 hours, and stuff does come along. I had, great encounters. I've had rabbits and wild deer come up. They didn't know I was there, so it wasn't till the last minute that they saw me that they would run off. So yeah, patience is key. That's
Yeah,
the main thing as well. Not just being able to hide yourself from whatever species you want to photograph, but yeah, having the patience to wait that long is key too. So
yeah. You're right. You're right. As you know, I I'm a big fan of hide, so I use it a lot in my videos because wildlife over here in Sardinia and in Italy in general are really suspicious and afraid by human due to the hunting. So wildlife tend to start really far away, and so usually I have to build a photo blind, a hide somewhere, or I use a portable hide in order to stay hide. Yes, and sometimes it's the only way for me to take in picture. For example, the peregrine falcon, I had to use a hide because I couldn't get closer to them. So I don't know, maybe there are many different approaches for wildlife, depending maybe also for the situation or the country where we are living. Maybe in UK it's quite easier to approach wildlife. I don't know. Watching your videos, I think it's quite easier than in Italy. What do you think about
yeah,
it?
yeah, I think where I live it is very rural anyway. So there's a lot of countryside, lots of different wild habitats that people can have access to. Um, So, going to the local woods, even just going to reserves as well.
Okay.
There's more opportunities to see more wildlife, especially in the place that I'm living anyway. So,
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Next question. Do you feel you lack some gear to make better photos in nature? Maybe a desire, a wish for something special, or would you like to have?
it's not something I think about a lot. Because I'm happy with the equipment I have. It
Okay.
gets me the images that I like to achieve. It would be nice to maybe upgrade the camera body
Okay.
more for the 4K video quality that it could
Okay.
take. There's a lot. The one I have, it doesn't have 4K quality. It's just HD. So that would be the only reason that I would upgrade to something else. With my Sigma lens, I also have a teleconverter to go with that,
Okay.
a 1.4. So I've even got an even longer zoom on that if I need to use it. But yeah, at the moment I'm pretty happy with what I get. Like I said, it's achieving the images that I want to take. Even if the subject's quite far away, it ends up becoming a nice environmental shot, which is something I'm quite enjoying doing at the minute. So it still gives me a range of themes within an image rather than just having a bird or an animal completely filling the frame. So it's
Okay.
it's versatile. That's the word.
Okay. I was thinking when you was talking, I was thinking about macro photography. So, did you ever tried macro photography?
I think I did very early on, but that was with like the standard. I think it was like a bridge camera, and it had like the function of a macro on it. And I tried it. Yeah, I think I remember trying it before. That I like bigger bigger subjects. So yeah.
Okay, I see. Very well. Okay. now it's time to talk about approach. So, what do you think about ethics in nature photography? I'm talking about baiting wildlife or disturbing animals for a photo and stuff like that.
Yeah, ethics in wildlife photography is a big topic, and in my opinion, I've only been to probably one or two hides where they have had food out for the subjects that visit. A lot of the time, I do prefer it being as wild and as, less interference as possible. And I often see or I hear of stories where not just photographers but other people, they would put food out and it can interfere with the animal's natural instincts to go find food. They would end up just coming back to that one spot over and over again, and it can just interfere with their natural hunting patterns. So it's not something I see myself leaning more towards. It's very much keeping it as natural as possible, respecting the subject, keeping it a good distance from you, and just allowing them to do whatever they please to do. If they end up walking away or flying off the last minute, it's better to leave it that way rather than go off chasing or trying to draw them in again and again if it's going to, affect them in the long term. So.
Oh, okay. Great. So do I. Sometimes I prefer to give up instead of keep following the subject, because when they are scared, there is no way the animal is as much more important than a photo. So I think the animal respect comes for the first thing. I'm totally for animal respect. So it's really appreciable for you to this kind of approach. So, very, very well.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite method to approach wildlife?
I think it goes way back before I even end up at a location. A lot of personal research goes into, identifying what the species is, researching locations, whether they're a resident species or if they only come in the winter or the summer season, and then initially choosing location, and then the day will come, and it's just a matter of, right place, right time. And going back to the idea of, having a lot of patience to do that and commitment, that's the sort of process that I usually go through. If there is a certain species I want to photograph,
Okay, great. The last question: what are your favorite places where to go for taking picture in nature, if there are?
Yeah, I have. I definitely have a few. One, there's locally, there's a river that runs not too far from the village I live in, and it's a spot I went to. I haven't been there recently, but I've seen, a lot of different bird species just along this one stretch of river. There's hardly any people that travel along the road nearby, so you are literally, within nature. Nothing else is disturbing you.
Okay.
So that's one of my favourite spots, just because it's something I remember from years back anyway. And to go there and just see all the different species of mainly ducks and herons and things like that. And then my second place would be the Isle of Mull, which is up in the west coast of Scotland. I've been there multiple times now, different times of the year. I've been able to see white-tailed eagles each time.
Yeah, amazing.
And I'm actually heading back in a couple of weeks. I just can't get enough of the place. There's so much. Obviously, you've got your puffins and eagles, but you've also got the Scottish red deer, got otters around all the coastline, and then the marine life. There's a lot of different whale and dolphin species that visits the Scottish waters. So it's brimming with wildlife up there, and I absolutely love going back once a year.
You've got a lot of different species. Yes, it's amazing. I know. Okay, very well. For now is all. So thank you so much for your patience and for your answer. Watching your videos, I see your big passion as well as from your answer, and I'm really happy to have met you today. I think you are really good, as I said before, and watching your video, I see this big passion. Before to say goodbye, as I said to my last guest, that if a day you plan to come over here in Sardinia, please let me know. I'll be your personal guide for all day, and I'll be really happy to guide you everywhere. So if a day you decide to come here, please let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, the last question. But are you planning to go abroad for nature photography some way? Did you do you have some project maybe?
Yes. So I would love to visit the Norway fjords. For it's a completely different landscape to what I'm used to in the UK, and mainly for it would be the marine life, the humpback whales and the large orca pods that feed there. That's definitely on my bucket list to go there. And if I ever had the opportunity, whenever that might be, to go up to Canada and see.
It's my dream.
Lots of much larger mammals. And again, for the scenery, it's a magical landscape. And if there's ever the opportunity, then I would absolutely love to see the wildlife there.
Yeah. Maybe next year, I hope to go there. Actually, we had to go. Last year, but due to many problems, family problems, we had to give up. But maybe next year, I hope so much. So finger crossed.
Yes,
also
definitely.
for you, of course.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Lydia. Okay, if you want to add something before to say goodbye, please, you can, of course. So if you want to say hello to someone.
Just thank you for joining in on our conversation, and if anyone's interested in viewing my channel, just search for Pinfold Photographic, where you can see all my latest videos, and my work is on Facebook and Instagram as well under the same name. So yeah.
It's great. In the video, I'm gonna put the link of your channel, of course. If you agree, I can put the link of your Facebook channel, Facebook page, and Instagram, if you have got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
very good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, my friend, now it's time to say goodbye. So thanks to Lydia for being here with me, and please subscribe our channel because there are a lot of wonderful videos. You can find the links in the description below. So see you, Lydia, next time, hoping to have another chance. Okay? So bye-bye for now.
Yes, thank you again. Goodbye.
Goodbye.